Hello and welcome back to The Top Shelf, my Criterion Collection Blu-ray review series. This is episode 73. And we're taking a look at more brand new purchases that I've made. And let's get into it. My name is Ernest Whiteman III. I'm a Northern Rockwell filmmaker, artist, writer, and media educator. And we're taking a look at the top shelf of my media collection. And today we have probably my most favorite Coen Brothers film. I know, insert film title here. What about that film? But here we have Miller's Crossing from 1990. What can be said about Miller's Crossing? The cinematography is fantastic. It's a great story. It's basically a Prohibition gangster era film starring Gabriel Byrne and John Turturro in a great role. Alfred Finney, Marcia Gay Harden, appearance by Steve Buscemi and other Coen Brothers, staples. I remember first seeing this after hearing about it, and it just charmed me. And that's the main thing about this film is, despite all the mafioso films that were coming out, the great ones like the Godfather trilogy, to the middling ones, to just the exploitation ones, they all didn't have a charm, and I think that is mostly due to the Coen Brothers and their screenplay. And they said the inspiration for this film was the image, I believe, that they had in their head of just a black fedora laying in a forest clearing that's picked up by the wind and blown down, and that you can see that in the opening credits of the film. It's also because of the really complex and tight script that they've produced. But the interesting fact about that is that while they were writing Miller's Crossing, they were so bogged down by the complications of the double and triple crosses that they developed writer's block. So they left town for a while, and when they came back, they still had writer's block. So in about 3 weeks, they churned out the screenplay for Barton Fink in the meantime, which then was enough to inspire them to carry on and finish the script for Miller's Crossing. Of course, it has a great supporting cast. One of my favorites is J.E. Pressman as the Dane. Dane is one of my favorite villain characters. He's just so menacing while being just on that cusp of being over the top. Of course, the Dane was originally supposed to be the Swede, and they had wrote the part for their friend Peter Stormare, who appeared later in Fargo as was one of the kidnappers with Steve Buscemi. But since he was off playing Hamlet at the time, they renamed it the Dane, sort of to honor him, and they cast J.E. Pressman to fill in the role. And another thing that I found charming is how much of the sort of the time language that they use, the jargon and the phrasing of how the characters speak to each other. The opening shot is, of course, an homage to The Godfather, with the bald Italian man speaking to and asking a request of the mafia leader. So I have my glasses on already because I just shot an episode before this. So breaking out the glasses, taking a look at the disc. This is from 1991. It's 113 minutes, color, 5.1 surround sound, 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio, which is the widescreen, the typical widescreen that you have nowadays. It's a roaring 20s gangster saga. It's described on as the back. Director approved. I always love director approved editions. I always love peeling off the director approved stickers and sticking them on the inside. It's just a thing I do. 2K digital restoration approved by director of photography Baron Sonnenfeld, who became a director of his own, and filmmakers Joe and Ethan Coen. Because of union rules with the DGA, only one director is allowed to be listed. So they always they alternate who's listed as the director in their films. But both do direct every film. With a new 5.1 stereo soundtrack mix, presented in DTS HD Master Audio. New conversation between author Megan Abbott and the Coens about the film, about film noir and hard-boiled crime fiction, and that's something I'm looking forward to. I watched this almost as soon as I got it. New interviews with actors Gabriel Byrne, who actually made a point of speaking his natural Gaelic accent because it was so regional and so appropriate of the times that it fit. John Turturro, of course, moderated by Abbott. Interviews from 1990 with Byrne, Turturro, and actors Marcia Gay Harden and John Polito. John Polito is the unsung hero of this film, I believe. Just his what he brings to the character of Johnny Gaspar, the Italian crime boss. The sudden flashes of anger where he smacks his kid for being too loud, and in a moment he's hugging him and talking to him in baby talk. So John Polito, I think, he's mainly the unsung hero of a lot of Coen Brothers films. New interviews with Sonnenfeld, composer Carter Barwell, music editor Tom Koskow, and production designer Dennis Gassner. It's set in the 20s. They shot, I believe, in New Orleans, even though there is no specific way of telling where the movie takes place in the film. English subtitles, and of course an essay by a film critic, Glenn Kenny, which is in the foreseen notebook. And of course here's on the disc. I always thought that should have been the cover of the Criterion, but it's a key moment in the film that they chose to highlight, and I have no problem with that. One of my favorite Coen Brothers films. Again, this rode on the coattails of that perfect storm of, getting the coupons, a half-price sale, timing, so that they can get new prints of Citizen Kane back into circulation. But my most favorite Coen Brothers film, Miller's Crossing. Hey, the battery died on me. So just as I was reading the spine number. Spine number for Miller's Crossing, my most favorite Coen Brothers film, 1112. Stay tuned. I will be coming out with a long form look at Tokyo Story entitled Mother's Watch, and how our expectations of Noriko and Setsuko Hara sort of it's sort of like how our gaze upon her sort of shaped the trajectory she was on. And I tie that to the Mother's Watch in Tokyo Story. And I also have, I'm still working on it unfortunately, another Native American themed review of Bone Tomahawk. Although the innovative Western claims to be innovative when it's still just your typical Western. I'm still working on new episodes of 10 and 10, my documentary series. The next one would be titled, ironically, Citizen Floyd, which is an ode to my old cell phone. But until then, thanks for joining me, and I will catch you next time.